Okay, so this message actually came earlier than expected, and I have no other choice but to serve and to slay. So I'm gonna share this message with you, my beautiful collective. If this message find you and you were on YouTube and you clicked on this, then this is about that ghosting situation that has been coming up in your mind, because of maybe there are some people that are coming up in your mind a lot, right? During this Mercury retrograde that you're in no longer connection with, specifically could be friends or romantic people. I'll introduce myself, who I am, in a minute. Welcome to your message that you are gonna get a lot of answers, I believe. This was a message that came up to me like in about an hour ago or so. And, it sucks, right? It sucks. It sucks when a certain connection ends with somebody, and I'm gonna share some experiences that's gonna kind of illuminate a lot of things for you. But I feel like you are someone that you have gone through some sort of a situation where it ended on the ground of ghosting. Basically, we already all know what it is when people lack the accountability, and I'm saying people like everyone, right? In general, when they ghost, there is of course different circumstances, but people lack that awareness and that accountability and a responsibility to just disappoint and make things clear, but they just disappear, right? So instead of choosing to make it very clear, crystal clear, you have gone through that kind of an experience. So if you're watching this, you definitely experience some kind of a ghosting situation where somebody walked out of your life, right? And I'm going to talk about specifically, I'm going to start off talking about the romantic connection that ended, and then the friendships. And again, my beautiful people, these are like channeled messages coming in to me, and I'm like both incorporating the channeled messages and what I'm really believing and what I feel like it is that you really need to know right now, that this is going to help you a lot. Okay, so basically, people in general, right, when they enter into relationships, they also bring a lot of things from their childhood, right? A lot of things follow them into their relationships. I think that sometimes we may really kind of forget about the fact that somebody here might have grown up in a different culture, background, family setting. What kind of relationships did they observe when they were growing up, right? And when somebody ghosts, it usually talks about their inability to face a confrontation, either to confront also, or there is just, they don't feel safe. And I want to definitely mention this, that somebody's ghosting into your life and disappearing has no power over your worth and your value. You know what I mean? It never defines like your worth and your value. So I'm sending you a big hug if you've ever experienced it and it made you like doubt your worth and your value. It has nothing to do with you. However, there is also on the other side, which I will talk about later. I'm going to keep that in my mind. What is the other side, right? And people, I think that you're kind of starting to really remember as a collective, that's what I'm feeling right now, that the people in your life that you have encountered, the ones that are like, contact with, there is no connection. You're somebody that you have started connecting the dots, and you're starting to really, really be very curious about these people and their backgrounds. And this is a way of kind of like extending them grace. Although whoever these people were that ghosted in your life, they kind of, I'm going to use this term, they kind of like they did you a painful favor. They did you a painful favor. That's why you're watching this video also. Because this video and the algorithm find you exactly like the message that you need to hear, the exact people. So what I mean by that is that even though certain situations you were involved in, let's say romantically with somebody, and in that relationship you felt safe, you felt celebrated, you felt loved, you did the same thing for the other person, and let's say somebody disappeared, it's like almost you felt part of you or part of your identity walked out of the door, right? And a lot of confusion, a lot of just in general, like this 9 of Swords energy in tarot, right? 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, kind of like almost freezing, not knowing what just happened. And remember that the people that actually did that like right away and very unexpectedly, there is a certain avoidant pattern and a style that these people actually embody because, instead of, for example, just making things very clear and maybe let's say it's disappointing, right? It ends. These people just disappear. And this is the other side. Excuse me. I was going to say, this is the other side. And I know that the energy I'm coming in with today, it's very, first of all, it is sassy shit. And I'm your funny and your most favorite Armenian guy, actually Carmenian guy, here to serve and to slay. Freaking camera is on this side. Today, I'm here to serve and to slay. So, on the other side, let's think about this. And I'm going to jump back and forth to help you really connect the dots. If we, collective, I'm talking about us, if we ever ghosted somebody, we should get curious why. It's an invitation for us to really look into the patterns that maybe we have had with us. And I feel like that I'm talking to the collective right now that very recently has come to this awakening and to this understanding of like, and me, myself including, like I have been really doing a lot of thinking about this, especially during this Mercury retrograde, patterns. And I'm not the type of creator here that's going to just sit here and give you a bunch of candies and dessert. I'm Armenian. I'm going to give you the Armenian barbecue and the steak. So that means I don't sugarcoat nothing, And I'm very open and honest because honesty is the best policy. Now, in many situations, when we look back, I think that we are starting to see certain patterns that we also embodied. And I'm saying this because I'm kind of really confirming this for you and congratulating you for really doing the work. This is not about making anybody to feel bad or like make anyone feel guilty. So please don't feel guilty about it. But if we were the one that, for example, ghosted somebody right from our lives, from the past, what is this teaching us? For example, what was it that we were avoiding to face? Were we avoiding something within us when we ghosted somebody? Were we avoiding, for example, even the fear of rejection? Were we avoiding hearing certain things that we did not want to hear? Because and we got to be very honest with ourselves. So when we become very honest with ourselves and we sit down and we say, in these certain situations, like it would have been much better. I don't know what is the other word that we can actually use, better, or it would have been much more reasonable to, communicate something very clearly. And even if we're going to end something, if we're going to end something, we can end it on a very clear note, right? And just end up having things like on a very clean note. It's better than just kind of disappearing, because that entire ghosting energy, when it happens, that it can be very triggering, but it also is a very powerful invitation to really look about our childhood, a lot of things within us. And one thing that also came to my mind I was going to share. And by the way, some people may say, Arman, how's your energy? Are you feeling okay? I'm feeling amazing. I live in Vegas. It's been raining 3-4 days recently. So when the sun doesn't come out, I get very like melancholic. But this is a good thing also. A lot of thinking going on too. And basically back to the point, right, of just being able to face certain things within ourselves. And I think nowadays, honestly, I just want to mention something very respectfully. People throw those terms, narcissistic, manipulator, master manipulator, and things like that all around. Very kind of like, oh, I'm the victim that did this to me. I think it's being overused and it's being abused, and people tend to call the people from their past those terms. And I feel like I'm talking to the collective right now that is actually choosing to be the bigger and the better person, to be the one that is more spiritually higher, on a higher consciousness and frequency, that we don't sit here and label everybody, excuse me, right? We don't just label everyone. And see, sometimes it may be very hard to admit. I don't know what energy I'm also picking up on, meaning, about something about throat chakra. And it's very difficult because people instead of taking accountability and responsibility, and they sit around and they point fingers at everybody else. And on my channel messages, I have picked up on certain people that like I could see like certain individuals who really tried to hurt the collective, who really were operating, and I always mention they were possessed by a certain frequency, right? And once we all were possessed by certain frequencies and vibrations. And that takes another level of understanding to admit, because it also allows us to be graceful and to extend the grace to another human being, right? And so I don't like the fact that like people go around there. I'm talking like I'm like on it. Some sassy shit out there. And I know a lot of you are like nodding with me and you're agreeing because right now, and you're smiling too, because it really makes sense, right? It makes sense. Like, that's why I don't tolerate like negative talking or negativity on my channel, or people sign bashing or putting other signs down. I don't tolerate that at all. If you've been on my channel for long enough, or if you're just coming in here, ask around, you'll find out, because words are like spell, and always they project, a lot of times. So we got to be very mindful of how we are also describing and talking about the people in the past. Now, the ones who ghosted, how do we talk about those people, right? The first thing that comes into our mind, a lot of times, it's just easy to be the one to throw the first stone. But that's not, I feel like that is something that maybe our past self would do, but you're actually outgrowing that version of you. And me too. And we are in the year of the snake. And the snake is about this transformation. It's about shedding the old skin and really just like letting go of the versions of ourselves, forgiving every version of ourselves, and I want to encourage you to keep doing that, because I feel like you are someone that you have come to, I think some of you have really had this epiphany where you kind of saw your version, like every year, 2025, 2024, and so forth on. And I'm inviting you also to forgive each version of you. And you did what you did. You said what you said. You could what you could back then. But this is a new version, a new higher level of consciousness is emerging within you, my beautiful collective. My cutie patooth is looking always so gooch. You know what I'm saying? And then the next series is the horse. So that means charging forward. That means movement, action with dignity, honesty, integrity, and agency. And will there be times that we may sometimes, I don't like to use a fail, yes, but we know better now, and we are able to kind of really pick ourselves back up and fix that and move on faster. I do want to mention one thing real quick. One thing just very quickly. I want to mention this, okay? So I got to mention this within this 1 minute. It's very important. I don't share this. I haven't shared this on the channel. I've shared this with like on my Instagram. But like for me, for example, as a creator, like I've had people sending me DMs and messages and things like that, and different kinds of confessions. I don't want to go too much into the details, sometimes even threats, whatever, right? In those kind of situations, but I don't even know these people, let's say, or whatsoever, I'm not obligated to respond to them. I'm not obligated to get back to them or to engage, because this is about my safety. This is about my energy and my privacy, right? So I'm just bringing up this example, and I'm letting you guys know, like in those situations, it's not even ghosting. It's setting boundaries and protecting myself, because, I'm out here, right, in front of so many people. So if you're in a situation, for example, where you feel like, your safety is at risk, or other kinds of things, you just want to really protect your body, your energy, and everything, you have the right to either just not say anything at all, like I said, in a very specific situation, or if you say something very clearly, you remove yourself and you de-escalate that entire intensity of a situation. I hope this made sense. I could go on and on, but this is something that I just wanted to put out there, because I know there might be a few people who are watching me, and, I know how to navigate through those situations. I'm not obligated to get to anybody, if I feel like that. Anyways, the energy, the frequency is way too low, and it's not, I can tell from the messages. Now, back to the relationships and to the friendships. So I feel like that in your case, collective specifically, I really, really feel like that you have been doing a lot of thinking about the patterns of how people like respond, how people react, and how do we operate in those situations. And for a lot of people, they want, for example, let's say they want reconciliation, they want reunion, right? They want to be back with the person. And my genuine answer, my genuine feedback on this is, why do you want it? Why does a person want that person? And if everybody was to get completely honest within themselves, they would say, because this person makes me feel this way, or because I see us being together, because I feel like that these are the feelings that I'm experiencing. So at the end of the day, it really goes down to the feelings, just like Dr. Joe Dispenza also talks about, right? Feeling is a secret. Feeling is very important. How do you feel? When you manifest, you feel the emotions of it very strongly. So, and my point here that I'm making is, if you can create that feeling within yourself, if you can become complete and whole and just feel loved and secure and safe within your body without any expectation from the external sources, it's not just a relationship, it's like people, like they say, houses, cars, money, abundance, right? People want to have all of those things because it makes them feel, capital letters F-E-E-L, feel a certain way. And that is the secret. When we can feel that without having any of that in our external reality, we already are embodying that version. We are already complete and we feel whole. So when you have that feeling satisfied within you, you no longer need that situation or that person or that thing. That's when the magic happens, though. Right? That's when the universe says, okay, so this is what you are embodying. This is what the frequency you are on. Then I'm going to give it to you. Manifestation. You know, Madonna and Justin Timberlake have this song, the 4 minutes. It's a manifestation song, guys. And I have shared it on my Instagram as well. And actually, like, that video really, really like reached to a big audience, like more than 500,000, about one-on-one manifestation, where it says, if you want it, you already got it. If you want it, already got it. If you feel it, better be what you want, or if you think it, better be what you want, right? So it really, really is like, if that's what you want, if that's what you feel, you're gonna get that. And this is also leading me back to circling. You know how I go into my Carmenian messages? I got no notes, but I got them points. And I'm gonna make my points come across. I know the people who watch me, you're able to handle 500 different topics at the same time, but it all makes sense and it's all connected. It's all interconnected. Some sassy shit out there. So basically, it all comes down to the way that we look at those people or these situations that they ghosted us, we ghosted them. That feeling of invisibility, that feeling of unworthiness, right? Because it does make people feel a certain way, right? You might have felt invisible, you might have felt this way. At the end of the day, when you are able to change that feeling, and how do you do that? You're gonna ask me, okay, how do you do that, Arman? You're gonna serve, then slave. I'm gonna give it to you. Hold on a second. So if we change that feeling and that emotions about this specific situation, we actually basically tear that debt. We don't hold any kind of poison, and we don't hold any kind of grudges, and we don't hold anyone captive in our minds. How many people do we have captivated in our minds? Captivated. We do. You do captivate, collective. How many people, sprinkles, hold on, go. So how many people, and some people may have you as a captive, because we are also kind of the villain in somebody else's story. And I know today's message is so different, but serving and slaying, it's going to find you at the right time. How many people do think that we are the villain in their story? And how many people do we think that we are the victim in their story, right? This message is an absolute complete as every other message, but this is like, we are in Mercury retrograde. Things are happening, whatever, but we're really, really being authentic. Capital letters, authentic. What people do we have in our minds right now Who comes first to your mind when you think about the ghosting situation that made you feel like a certain way? And if you really, really know this person, maybe you don't really know this person. I mean, okay, let me just say this first. So many thoughts coming in. Oh, calm down, Arman. You're a quadruple Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury. Calm down. A lot of fire. Calm down, calm down, calm down. So many messages. Okay, so if you know, like, what are those people and their stories, backgrounds, it's gonna be so easy for you to just free yourself from that, like, mental prison of holding them accountable to anything, because their childhood issues and their trauma followed them. But this doesn't mean us being happy about it. This doesn't mean us, yes, it's, this means healing this generation. This means becoming the generational curse breaker. Having a regulated nervous system is actually generational wealth. It's literally, this is the amazing concept and the factual thing that, how do we get to that feeling? I know people are going to ask, how do we get to the feeling also? You meditate and you do breath work. How do you do breath work? You open YouTube and then type breath work, nervous system reset regulation. Find the one that really suits with you and give it a try. And just sit for 5-10 minutes and try to breathe and be mindful and be present. A lot of people ghosted you because they couldn't stay present. And we also have done the same to other people because we couldn't stay present in our bodies. Ghosting is literally a way of escapism and running away from certain things that people are not wanting to face within themselves. It's the easiest way out. But, even though it's the easiest way out, after some time, that entire, that maybe the pain and just a lot of stuff is gonna come up to the surface from the well. Imagine it's a deep well. It's gonna come up to the surface. And I feel like that also people who ghost, they do get ghosted a lot. And I think people who really don't take accountability and they don't learn, that frequency, that energetic situation, that energetic vibration, it keeps attracting and bringing more of those experiences into their lives because that's what their home frequency is, right? I mean, that's what they're embodying in their home frequency, in their body. You know what I mean? What vibration? Everything is vibrating right now. The law of vibration. This car is vibrating at a certain frequency. That phone is vibrating at a certain frequency, right? This is dense. And also how we're feeling. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? That in of itself is a vibration. So when you start vibrating higher and you meditate and you start being grateful and mindful and present, you actually start attracting equivalent experiences to your thoughts, to your feelings, and them emotions. And your reality starts rearranging itself accordingly. You know what I mean? And that's how we start changing our lives. We start changing our core beliefs. If you really want to start working on your beliefs, it's important to adopt one by one a certain core belief and rely on to that, For example, if you experience, let's say, a ghosting situation or something happens that make you feel a certain way, what would be the core belief for you that you can really rely on and find some sort of safety net in that, right? You can just sit still and create a ritual. I'm safe in my body. I'm thankful to be where I'm at right now. I'm worthy. I'm lovable. I'm deserving of love. And you regulate your nervous system. You sit down, you tame the animal respectfully, and then you breathe and you start regulating your nervous system instead of going to other people and talking about this and typing online or leaving on comments. This person did this to me. I don't let those comments stay on my channel. Sprinkle. I got the moderators. They be filtering them out because we don't allow them. And that's why the collective is changing right now. And people who are on my channel, they see the shifts happening in their life. Typing and constantly talking to this person, finding another person. And of course, pity party loves misery, loves company. You know what I'm saying? So, and bad company corrupts good behavior. So it's whole lot of stuff out there. People are becoming more aware. And I know my collective here that I'm talking to, the people, my tribe, the people that are really getting this message, because this is coming from my heart. And really, this is a message that I feel like I need to communicate is we're no longer doing that. We're no longer dwelling onto the old story and talking about the old story, what happened, who did and why, blaming, pointing fingers, right? We are becoming aware. We are becoming mindful. We are becoming present. And a lot of times, instead of just wanting to know, oh, is this going to happen or when is this going to happen? That is a different thing. That's a different energetic prediction. But most importantly, trust me, cutie patootie. You're going to do some slay sassy shit if you just do a few things. Breath work, meditation, gratitude journaling, mindfulness. Give it 20 to 30 minutes. Instead of scrolling on TikTok or other apps or whatsoever, consuming them 15-second videos, give that time to yourself and sit and feel the emotions of feeling worthy, loved, lovable, accepted. And instead of also going into the old childhood and try to disentangle every emotion, every feeling from this experience, because anybody had time for it. I mean, instead of doing that, just like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, you create the feeling that overrides that emotional state of being that you adopted or developed because of that experience. And therefore, that experience becomes wisdom detached from that emotion that would make you feel a certain way. So instead of feeling guilty and unworthy, you develop the feeling of feeling worthy and deserving and lovable and kind and generous and accepted and part of the divine. So you develop a new feeling, you override the older experience. How about it? Oh, I love this message. Damn, this is good. So this is what it is about. People go, oh my gosh, this person ghosted me. This is what, hold on. Deep breath. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to do that with me right now. You'll be asking about them breath work. If you're in a safe space, don't do this when you're driving. Don't do this when you're operating in a machine or whatever. But find yourself a safe place. And I don't care how many minutes this video is. I'm still going to serve and slay. So I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to just bring your hands, okay, your hands on your knees. Because it makes you, it's a body language thing that it makes you feel very present right now. Okay, your feet seated in the ground. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to do a soft, gentle inhale. Exhale. Inhale one more time. Exhale. And for the last time, inhale. And exhale. And when you do this, inhale, exhale, bring this air, feel from your lower abdomen to your heart and through the nose, right? Pull it up all the way up to your skull, to your pineal gland. I mean, that's a pineal. This is not a pineal gland meditation, but squeeze it up there, okay? Hold it and then release it. And then do it a few times. Pull it up all the way up. Squeeze a little bit of the muscles from the abdomen. And then squeeze it and then hold it. And you know, some people, they say, oh my gosh, what does breathwork has to do with the title or this video? It has everything to do with that. Because we gotta pay attention to our body and to the sensations. What were we feeling? What are we feeling? And you know, let me also elaborate on this too. Even though certain experiences, traumatic experiences, they happened years ago. What happens to a person when they think about that experience 10 years later after the experience? The body feels like they're still experiencing that same thing. The body feels like as if it's happening again. So the body froze a screenshot of that moment with its own package of them emotions, them feelings and everything. And it's stored somewhere in the body. So anytime something similar comes up, there is a rejection, there is a situation going on, whatever, right? Financial situation, poverty mindset, things happening, you name it. The body starts getting its sensations. It's maybe shivering, what you call that? Nervous, shaking, sweaty, whatever it might be. The heart pace gets out of its normal rate, right? And the body is in a flight and fight mode. It's in an emergency state of being. And it's a no joke when you have been in that kind of situations and you start feeling that. It's like, we got to do something about it. Breath work. I have been doing that for the past consistently. And I mean 45 minutes a day. I will not start my day if I don't do a 45-minute breath work and a meditation. I can't. Like, I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? So, or 15 minutes meditations as well with Dr. Joe, but breath work is non-negotiable for me. I may miss a meditation, but I will never miss a breath work. I can't. It's part of my routine, you know, to regulate the nervous system. So I've been doing that for the past for like 6 months or so, but I've been doing that before, like on and off throughout the week. But now it's been just on it, you know, and it brings so much liberation, and all of that energy that was stored up in the body, you just use it, you transmute it, you alchemize it into something more creativity, you know what I mean? So please be very vigilant, the type of readings that you watch, the type of content that you watch, the language that's being used. Be very vigilant, because if anything is being said that kind of reiterates and reaffirms the trauma and the pain for the viewer and for the watcher, I think it's just detrimental. You know, so gotta be very careful. And in general, what are we typing into the comments? What are we putting out there? What are we talking about in general, about those experiences? So this is about raising awareness, my beautiful collective. And today's message, I know that like I came across as if like, I'm like, trust me, this is what I'm sharing right now. It comes a lot of it from like personal experience. It's like as if I'm just putting aside the terms of channeling or this and that. Of course I do that, but I just wanted to like get out here and like, you know what, my collective, my beautiful people out there, you know, my besties, people, I see you in the comments. You also mentioned them seeing some orbs around or whatever. And like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. Or like some sassy shit, you know, I see you in the comments, you a baddie, you know. And I know that you're going to receive, this message is going to be well received for the people who really need to hear this, right? I did touch upon a lot of those things that I think is going to be very helpful. But to conclude this message, what we just said in the beginning, it really is an invitation for us. That ghosting experience is an invitation for us to look within ourselves. Because we got to start from the house. We got to start from the cleaning from deep down. And when it comes to the other person, trust me, when you really disentangle your own, like our own issues, our own past patterns that followed us in certain relationships and friendships also, it's going to be so easy to just, you know, like extend that grace and forgive and let go and forgive and wish the best, you know what I mean? And that's like the art of detachment, also part of art of detachment, like letting go, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people may think, oh, detachment, whatever, they say F this person, F that person, you know what I'm saying? How can you say that to somebody if you love them truly? How can we say that? And we all get pissed off and we all get mad and I mean, trust me, I'm Armenian. You know what I'm saying? But I've learned how to control my temper pretty well, but definitely, and I'm a quadruple Leo too, so anywho, it doesn't justify it. Those used to be like excuses. I don't care anymore. Arman, you need to regulate yourself, I tell myself. You know, enough that people are trying to like bring up either the zodiac sign or they like sign bashing the other sign. All of these signs are like this. This sign is, no, we can't generalize. We need to stop generalizing and victimizing signs, okay? Because of a certain personal experience we have had with somebody else. If you watch I know you watch my readings, you know I say, we're not here to point fingers at nobody and try to put nobody down. It's a personal, individual journey and experience. Ain't no sign is better than the other one. Everyone is very unique in its own way. You know what I mean? In its own way. Gotta honor that. So with all that being said, beautiful collective, I hope that this message I hope that this message did not miss any important point. Even if this is a longer video, it is what it is, gonna serve and slay. But yeah, it is about just really coming in terms of understanding that somebody's lack of presence and just being in the present moment and be able to confront and to face really is a result of them just ghosting, right? And just disappearing. But also it comes with a lot of like details and packages from their past, and vice versa. One of my spiritual teachers, she taught me this really interesting concept. Whenever many of you maybe know that, like, whenever you point a finger at somebody, those three fingers are looking at us, and that talks about that importance of looking within ourselves. We all are connected to one another. We're all part of the divine, and at the end of the day, we're all gonna be connected back to the source and back to the divine as light beings. Why are we so much caught up? I mean, this is a lesson for our soul's evolution. We're learning, really, like, that's what I really believe. But, our consciousness is expanding, and we're understanding we no longer have to live in this mental prison of holding anybody captive or constantly living in the same emotional state of being every single day. I'm saying, because every single day is a beautiful day to wake up and to change and to be the change we want to see around us every single day. And I believe in you, and I know that you can, and I know that you have been doing the work within you. And I want to say I'm really proud of the collective that I'm speaking right now. I love you so much, dear collective. So I hope that this reading helped. It's getting chilly out here. I gotta go upstairs, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.